The Dominican Spanish is a little funky. From what I'm told, it's a lot like the uneducated Chilean Spanish, where they get rid of S's on the ends of words, which are key in Spanish for pluralizing. They get rid of D's if they're between two vowels. Like instead of saying hablado, like to have spoken with someone, he hablado con él, they'll say he hablado con él. They'll kind of cut out the D. Ow is the sound that comes out afterwards. They also tend to cut words short, like para, they only say pa qué, pa cuando. And in general, they speak really, really fast. Dominican Spanish is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, dialects of Spanish out there. And so with all of these things mixed in, it can be kind of hard to understand. Really, the best thing to do is get yourself out there talking to people. The more people you talk to, the more you will understand about the accent and how to speak to them. Like, yes, you do need to learn Spanish grammar. You do need to learn the basics, which you can find in textbooks and the aids they give you on the mission to learn. But the biggest thing, if you want to understand the people themselves, not necessarily if you want the language skills after the mission, but if you want to understand the people themselves there, just talk. Talk to as many people as you can. And then when they say something that you don't understand, a saying, ask them what it means or ask your companion what it means. And you'll pick things up pretty quickly. Just try not to use too much of the slang, because a lot of it, it kind of removes your image as a missionary. And so you have to be careful about which things you can and can't use. In general, it's a good idea to avoid it all, but sometimes people will not understand you if you use proper, correct Spanish. So you have to use a little bit of the slang to make sure that they understand. If you say it first in one way and they don't get it, then you have to go back and explain it in a sort of slangy way. The missionary vocabulary is pretty much the same as any other Spanish missionary vocabulary in any other Spanish-speaking country. But one of the good things to know, Dominicans are, because they're very friendly people, they're only friendly, I say that, when you see them in person. If they're behind a door, or if they're one of those really nice apartments you have to buzz and there's a little camera that checks who you are, you will probably never see them and never get in and never talk to them. And they'll never talk to you. Probably the best way to street contact out in the Dominican Republic isn't to go knock on doors. Usually if a door is closed, it means someone's not home, or it means that they don't want to be bothered and will not let anyone bother them. But oftentimes, because they're used to the heat, or they want to get away from the heat, because sometimes in the house it's hotter than outside the house because of the humidity, they'll sit out on the porch, or they'll be out just on the street in front of their house. And that is the perfect opportunity to talk to them, because usually they're doing nothing, and as long as you're not too overbearing, they'll be gladly willing to listen to you, especially if you can manage to start off the conversation with something that's close to home for them, something that they relate to, talk about their kids, or about baseball. Dominicans are all baseball fanatics, so on and so forth. You find a way to connect with them, a little bit of small talk, and then they'll probably pull up a couple of chairs and ask you to sit down, and then you go right into your message.